Could impact the city's shift to a new form of government.
Plus, the Federal Reserve makes its first announcement of the year.
In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged.
This as tax season quickly approaches.
And in sports, the OU women's basketball team gets ready for a series challenge at home against Ball State. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Allison Patton.
And I'm Donovan Varney. Welcome to Newswatch. Weather has been heating up lately, so we're going to send it on over to forecaster Steve Nedlick with the latest.
Yeah, guys, it definitely has been heating up, and that is thanks to this high pressure system that has been sitting over our area for the past 24 hours. It's really allowed us to have that sunshine heat us up, so it was a great day to walk around, or if you had some time during lunch, to get outside and get some fresh air. Now, you would think with that clear sky, you would expect some low overnight temperatures, but it was so windy last night that we didn't drop really below 38, 39 degrees, so it wasn't even a bad night of walking around last night. Currently, we're sitting at 42 degrees with clear skies, and again, those winds are still kind of kicking out there, so that's what's keeping us kind of warm, but those aren't going to last all night. As you look here, we don't see a lot of clouds in the area, no rain, so it is going to be a pretty calm night, so there's nothing to really worry about as you head out the door tomorrow morning. Looking at tonight, we have a low of 23, and again, that's because those winds kind of die off. So if you have any plans tonight, maybe pack a hat, maybe a jacket, as tonight might get a little chilly with a lack of those winds. Stay tuned for my full weather.
Thanks, Steve. There's a confusing situation developing in Nelsonville. Nelsonville City Council passed an ordinance which, if approved by voters in May, will transform their government under the city's charter.
Newswatch reporter Haley Hollinger joins us now to clear some of this up and tell us where the city is going to go from here. Haley?
Donovan, Allison, we've been working to figure out what this voting process looks like. Council approved the ordinance amending the city's current structure, but if you remember issue 23, an initiative passed by voters last November, already eliminates their current form of government, making people wonder if this amendment is even possible. Now, the amendment passed last night mirrors the structure of a government with a mayor. Under the charter, this directly competes with issue 23, which causes confusion on which to vote for. The passing of the charter amendment puts a few possibilities into play for the city's government. One being the creation of two separate governments, and another being the amendment would take precedence over issue 23. But it seems that no one knows for sure, even City Attorney Jonathan WOUB.
I think there's a lot still up in the air, uncertain. I guess time will tell whether Ordinance 525 increases or decreases that uncertainty. Yeah. I think there may be some follow-up litigation. I mean, I know.
In addition to the amendment, the council also discovered they can't establish wards at this point in time, meaning any new council members would have to run at large. All of this is a developing story, so we'll keep you updated. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Haley Hollinger.
Thanks, Haley. The Ohio State Highway Patrol is investigating a crash on US 33, which killed a Meigs County woman. The crash happened yesterday morning after a tractor trailer crossed the median, and that trailer struck a vehicle, killing the driver. The truck driver was transported to O'Bleness Hospital. His condition is unknown at this time. And to stay up to date with the latest news across the region, head to our website, WOUB.org, or download the WOUB app.
A critical confirmation hearing for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. kicked off earlier today. Kennedy is President Trump's pick to lead the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Ivan Rodriguez breaks down the questions from senators and his stances on key health issues.
Testifying during a Senate Finance Committee hearing, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. faced hours of questioning, with many Democrats focusing in on his stance on vaccines.
He has made it his life's work to sow doubt and discourage parents from getting their kids life-saving vaccines.
But in his opening statements, RFK Jr. downplayed his anti-vaccine rhetoric.
Vaccines play a critical role in healthcare. All of my kids are vaccinated.
These statements differ from some of the ones he's made in the past.
There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective.
Those claims are unsubstantiated by the scientific community. During the hearing, RFK Jr. did acknowledge his advocacy for vaccine safety and says they are not tested properly. He says he's asked, quote, uncomfortable questions.
I'm not going to apologize for that. We have massive health problems in this country that we must face honestly.
In fact, Kennedy says healthcare costs are high due to chronic diseases, a view with support among some Democratic senators.
The CDC says 90% of healthcare spending goes toward managing chronic disease, which hits lower income Americans the hardest.
On abortion, Kennedy reassured Republican senators that states should have control.
I agree with President Trump that every abortion is a tragedy. I agree with him that we cannot be a moral nation if we have 1.2 million abortions a year.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
The White House rescinds its order to freeze federal aid less than 24 hours after the order went into effect. Earlier today, the White House Office of Management and Budget released a 2-line memo repealing the order, which halted funds for some federal grants and loans.
The order raised concerns from multiple people and groups who rely on the money. The freeze was scheduled to go into effect at 5 p.m. yesterday, but was partially blocked by a federal judge. President Trump signed his first piece of legislation today since taking office. The Lake and Riley Act requires the Department of Homeland Security to detain undocumented migrants for certain crimes. It includes theft and burglary or crimes resulting in death or serious injury. The bill signing comes as ICE reports thousands of arrests this week.
Americans are very clear. They want more border security, but they also want an opportunity for sane immigration reform that stabilizes and fixes our broken immigration system.
The legislation is named after a 22-year-old Georgia student who was killed last year by an undocumented migrant from Venezuela. And moving to the courtroom, President Trump is appealing his conviction in his New York hush money case. Last May, Trump was convicted on 34 counts of falsifying business records to reimburse his former lawyer for hush money payments. They were made before the 2016 election to an adult film star who claimed she had an affair with Trump. Trump denies this. Earlier this month, he was sentenced to an unconditional discharge, meaning Trump will not get prison time or any other penalties. However, he will still carry the conviction on his record.
The Federal Reserve is holding interest rates steady amid lingering concerns over inflation. Experts aren't expecting interest rates to come down, even though President Trump is demanding the Fed drop rates more quickly. Amid all this uncertainty, experts offer this advice for people with high interest debt.
You're carrying high-cost debt like credit cards or even home equity lines of credit, many of which are in double-digit interest rate territory. You need to stay on offense, be aggressive about paying down that debt.
Experts are also concerned Trump's tariffs will drive up prices, along with deporting immigrants, which could affect the labor market. Tax season is officially underway. The IRS is accepting and processing tax returns with a deadline to file by April 15th. Jen Sullivan has tips to help you through the process of filing.
You can now begin filing your 2024 taxes, and there are benefits to filing early.
One of the biggest benefits is the refund.
Lisa Green-Lewis with TurboTax says the sooner you file, the sooner you'll receive a refund if you're owed money. Last year, the IRS says the average refund was slightly over $3,100.
For some people, that's the biggest check they get all year.
If you make a mistake, you'll have plenty of time to fix it after the IRS notifies you of an error.
One of the most common mistakes is just gathering the wrong Social Security number for your dependents.
One of the biggest changes this year, if you were paid for goods or services through a payment app or online marketplace, and the transactions combined exceeded $5,000, you may get a 1099-K.
When you sign up for those platforms to either take payment or make sales, they're going to take all of your information, your personal information and the like, probably your Social Security number or an EIN if you're a business. So they're going to issue it right to you.
Andy Phillips with H&R Block says taxpayers who have had a life-changing event in 2024 will also see big changes. That means if you got married, had a child, purchased a home for the first time, moved to a new state, or started receiving Social Security. For parents who file jointly and make less than $400,000 a year, you could receive a child tax credit for all children under the age of 17 at the end of the tax year.
Up to $1,700 of that $2,000 is refundable. What that means is you can get that even if you don't owe taxes.
Other tax credits offered up to $7,500 for buying an electric vehicle. And if you made any energy efficient changes to your home, you could also qualify for a credit. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Coming up, the largest tuberculosis outbreak in decades has killed 2 people in Kansas. What health officials are saying as they work to contain the spread.
And a recall for a popular chip brand has been upgraded to the most severe level. Find out what products are affected next.
We're tracking rain towards the end of the week. Stay tuned to find out exactly when next.
A team races today
24/7, all hands on deck.
to build New York's LaGuardia Airport of tomorrow.
We didn't realize what we were up against.
Battling extreme weather.
The wind has picked up. Watch the boom.
Well, we just had a failure.
And massive machines.
Very dangerous. One wrong move, we could strike a building.
Extreme airport engineering on Nova.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
I hear the echoes all through the meadows. Breathe in and let go. That sweet surrender. I've been running, running, running all through the night. You can knock me down, but I've got my will to survive. Rise up, rise up.
Together, we can make real change happen.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
We've had a beautiful last few days, and that is thanks to this high pressure system that's been in the area. It has caused our temperatures to skyrocket compared to what they were last week, with highs almost in the 50s at 48 degrees and lows at 23, but that's nothing compared to what we were looking at last week. Now, these mostly sunny skies are due to this high pressure system that is sitting over our area that's allowed for these beautiful sunny skies, and that heat from the sun has really heated up our ground as we go throughout the day, which has led to those highs again in the mid 40s and low 50s. You can see here we don't have many clouds in the area, and that's a good thing usually during the day, but usually at night we don't love that because that drops our temperatures pretty low. However, last night we had such high winds that helped push some of that warm air into our area quicker and kept our overnight lows much nicer than they usually would have been. Taking a look, due to these temperature increases, we've started to see a little bit of lake effect snow come off Lake Erie, and that's already impacting our friends up in Cleveland and the Pittsburgh area, but nothing down here for us as we don't have any lake effect snow down here. Currently, we have temperatures at 42 degrees and clear sky. Again, we still have these high wind speeds, and that might die down tonight, which is going to let us dip into the low 20s tonight. So again, if you have anywhere to go, maybe pack a hat, pack some gloves, because it will get pretty chilly due to that lack of wind. As you can see here, we are tracking a warming trend, and that's coming from the Gulf. That's going to be pulled up by this low pressure system that's going to deliver this rain to us towards the end of the week, but it's really going to pull some of that warm air, so it's going to feel a lot nicer, especially compared to last week. Looking at tomorrow again, temperatures continue to climb with temperatures as high as 50 degrees and a low of only 39. But again, because of those clouds in the area, it's going to help act as an insulation layer, so we'll keep our temperatures a little higher. Taking a look at tomorrow, we're going to have this system start to move in from the Gulf, and that's going to start to bring us some rain, but that won't happen until late tomorrow night, possibly early Friday morning. So if you have anywhere to be in the morning, maybe give yourself a few more minutes. As on Thursday night, again, Friday morning, it starts to move into the area, and then by Friday, we start to see this become pretty widespread, so it's going to pretty much be a washout for all of Friday, but it will begin to move out as we get into the weekend, as we're going to have an area of high pressure move in from the north, and that's going to help clear our skies out, but it is going to drop our temperatures back into more seasonable kind of numbers with highs as low as 20, 30 degrees. So nothing like these temperatures we're seeing right now. You can see Sunday, Monday, we are sitting at 57, 59, but that begins to go away on Tuesday when that high pressure system moves down from Canada, and that will start to impact our temperatures as we move into the 46-degree temperatures. As we look at Tuesday and Wednesday, that rain returns as late as Wednesday.
Well, Steve, Allison, I don't know about you guys, but that 7-day forecast got me a little excited. Might be time to put the coat away here soon. I don't know.
Maybe break out the shorts for a few days.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get to enjoy it because of that rain, but 60-degree temperatures is awesome.
Yeah, you can't complain about that.
Right, yeah. Is it supposed to rain all day?
Oh, yeah. Friday's pretty much a washout, so unfortunately, we can't really experience those spring-like temperatures.
Yeah.
Well, at least it'll be warm. Thanks for joining us, Steve. Right now, health officials in Kansas are trying to get a handle on what's being called an unprecedented tuberculosis outbreak in the state.
Manny Gaither has the latest case data and explains how the potentially deadly illness is spread and who is at the highest risk.
It's the largest outbreak of tuberculosis in the U.S. since monitoring began in the 1950s. A wave of cases has hit Kansas beginning in January of 2024. As of Friday, there have been at least 67 people being treated for confirmed active TB infections. There are 79 other confirmed latent cases where TB is detected in the body but is not making the person sick. 2 deaths linked to this outbreak were also reported last year.
TB is caused by a bacteria that principally involves the lung, and it usually is transmitted person to person with prolonged contact.
The outbreak is still ongoing, so there could be more cases, but the CDC says most U.S. residents are at minimal risk for TB, as the country has some of the lowest TB rates in the world. The Kansas State Health Department hasn't said what caused the outbreak, but experts say people who have a higher risk of TB exposure include those born in or often travel to countries where the disease is common, and those who live in large group settings like homeless shelters, prisons, or jails. People who work in places where TB is more likely to spread, including hospitals, shelters, correctional facilities, and nursing homes, are also at higher risk.
If there are people in those local communities who are concerned and they go out into the public, well, put on your mask. You'll be protected against TB, and you'll also have some protection against flu, which is out there everywhere still.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Frito-Lay's recall of potato chips sold in 2 states has been upgraded to the most severe level. Frito-Lay issued the recall on December 16th for more than 6,000 of its 13-ounce Lay's Classic Potato Chips bags. Now, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has classified the limited recall as a Class 1. It's because a batch may contain undeclared milk ingredients, which could pose a serious or life-threatening allergic reaction. The recalled chips were only sold in Oregon and Washington. They were available for purchase beginning in November.
Next in sports, the Ohio women's basketball got back in the win column, but it is not going to be easy to stay there as Ball State comes to the Convo with a perfect MAC record.
Here's to an undisturbed night.
Let's hope.
I just want to be with you.
Would you like me to make you another coffee?
No, that was horrible.
Work is indeed a good distraction from matters of the heart.
A little bit far-fetched, don't you think?
I do like it when the house is full and happy.
So do I.
What time is it?
Party time.
We can all be together. It's good to be back.
Sunday on WOUB.
In hospital, you deal with cases. On the district, you deal with people. When mothers come to us, they bring everything they are with them.
There's nothing nicer than a fresh start.
You have done your best. Sometimes our best must be enough.
We're gonna take good care of you. We're with you now.
second wave of migration was on the horizon. Another mass movement propelled by World War II would dwarf the first.
That journey was uncharted territory with great rewards.
My grandfather came from Shreveport, Louisiana, because he felt that he could flourish here.
I was 4 years old when I got to Detroit. That was a whole wonderful new experience for me.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
The Ohio women's basketball team has a tough task tonight in the Convo, facing the MAC top dogs, Ball State. The women's team picked up a much-needed win over Eastern Michigan, ending a 5-game losing streak in conference play. The Ball State Cardinals have been soaring through conference play. The Cardinals have yet to drop a game against a MAC opponent. The Cardinals have not lost since December 10th at the hands of the 8th-ranked Ohio State. Their 10-game winning streak has propelled them to the top of the conference. Ohio leans more on a few scores. Watkins is the Bobcats' leading scorer and 5th in the MAC in points per game. Ball State has 5 players that average 10 or more points per game. Coach Bob Bolden said he was proud of the work the team put in to get them back in the win column.
But it's a team effort, and to say that I'm grateful for the work that they do would be an understatement. They're awesome.
While the women's team prepares to host a formidable conference opponent, the men's team faced one last night. The Ohio men's basketball team fell by a razor-thin margin last night at home against the Toledo Golden Rockets. The Bobcats and Golden Rockets remained close all night. The largest lead between both squads was just 10 points. Without their 2 leading rebounders, A.J. Clayton and Aiden Hadaway, Ohio fell behind Toledo on the glass as the Golden Rockets out-rebounded them 40-33. Down 8 to begin the second half, the Bobcats surged back to cut the lead to 1 with an A.J. Brown 3, with 7:16 to play. A Sonny Wilson bucket pushed the lead back to 4, but it was far from over. With 4:01 on the clock, Jackson Pavletsky hit a layup to get the lead back to 2. Down 5 late, Sharif Mitchell gave the Bobcats life with this 3, but after Ohio failed to secure the rebound on the next shot, Bryce Ford hit a pair of free throws to put the game on ice. Toledo survived the combo with an 86-83 win over the Bobcats. Coach Bowles credited Toledo and the effort his players showed down the stretch.
We really fought back second half, and we could never really get the lead. And, that's the one thing we kept on talking about, just fight to get the lead. Had to get stops, give them credit. They made a lot of tough shots, especially in the shot clock.
Ohio falls to 11-9 and 5-3 in the conference, 1 spot behind the 12-8 Golden Rockets, who improved to 6-2 in the MAC. There is plenty of high school basketball around the area tonight. The Eastern Eagles travel to face the Belpre Golden Eagles. The conference clash features a team seeking their first conference win and another that could use some help to claim the conference outright. Eastern is looking for that elusive conference win and their first win since December 14th. The Belpre girls currently hold sole possession of second place, but if they win today and get some help from Eastern against Waterford on Friday, they could still claim the conference. As for boys basketball, the Trimble boys head to Wellston High School as both teams look to get back on track. Trimble has lost their last three, while Wellston has lost their last 9. Both teams have suffered close losses in recent weeks, with the Tomcats falling to Waterford by 2 and the Golden Rockets falling by 4 to Alexander.
Still ahead, the 15-day Lunar New Year festivities begin today. Find out more after the break.
Imagine reaching a point where your memories start to fade and you have no way of creating new ones.
Being subjected to long-term sensory deprivation.
We were placed in solitary confinement for decades.
Folks inside started thinking about ways to protest.
Let's do a nonviolent act. Let's do a hunger strike.
Monday at 10 on WOUB.
Understanding the past gives a sense of the future.
This is the first time that anyone has seen this in 2,000 years.
This is amazing.
Well, I'm excited now.
Pompeii is a battle against time.
You think I'm joking, but look at this. It did really happen.
Don't let anybody tell you who you are.
History teaches us to honor the past.
When you look back, you're like, wow, that was pretty special.
This is something that's actually altering the course of history.
You're charged with keeping these stories alive.
On Secrets of the Dead, a daring escape from the world's most notorious extermination camp.
They escaped in order to warn the world that Auschwitz was a killing mechanism.
You must tell me everything.
There are gas chambers. Leading to one of the greatest moral dilemmas of the 20th century.
The only way to take out the instrument of killing was to bomb the camp.
Bombing Auschwitz on Secrets of the Dead.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
And finally, it's almost Groundhog's Day, and the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, better known as PETA, is suggesting a fun replacement for the groundhog, a cake. Vegan, of course. PETA believes that the rodent is being exploited. It will deliver the cake if the president of the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club agrees to let the groundhog retire. And it would be similar to a gender reveal cake. Blue for 6 more weeks of winter, and pink would mean an early spring. The Punxsutawney Groundhog Club did not issue a response. Well, I mean, Groundhog Day? Not too bad.
Groundhog Day, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I want the cake, but, you know, we'll deal with it, right? I mean,
right,
I like Punxsutawney Phil, seeing him around, but if we have to go to the gender reveal cake, whatever that style is, can't complain too much about that. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Allison?
I actually used to live right near Punxsutawney, the town in Pennsylvania, yeah. Yep, but in our other story tonight, an amateur fossil hunter uncovered a disgusting yet amazing find on a beach in Denmark, a piece of animal vomit from 66 million years ago. A local museum says the man noticed a strange cluster of lily pieces in chalk. He brought the fossil to the museum where it was cleaned and examined by a lily expert. The expert says the cluster contains at least 2 species of lily in a round lump. The museum curator says it was likely a fish threw up parts of the lilies. Curator says the discovery provides important new knowledge about the food chains of the Cretaceous seas.
Today marks the start of Lunar New Year, kicking off a 15-day celebration to ring in the Year of the Snake. While the Year of the Snake may sound scary, there's no need to worry. In Chinese tradition, snakes are known for wisdom, charm, and elegance. Year of the Snake sounds pretty good.
Exactly. No better way to ring that in than higher temperatures. And that's exactly what we've had over these past few days, and we're going to continue to have until we get to Saturday before we see those temperatures drop off. But again, on Friday, we're going to have a lot of rain in the area, so there's not going to be much celebrating for that. But on Saturday and Sunday, going to be a lot more pleasant as we see those temperatures climb back into the high 50s, and we might see a 60 in there or 2. And on Tuesday, we're going to see those temperatures start to head back down, and we might see some rain on Wednesday. So really, all things are in play. You got to keep your hat and gloves out. You might be able to break the shorts out, but there's really no telling what we're going to be seeing over the next week in terms of temperature. So really just plan accordingly every day. Check your app, check whatever you watch. Just make sure you're weather aware.
Yeah, Steve, sounds like I might need an umbrella to come with me. Now, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Allison Patton.
Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. I'm Donovan Varney, Steve Nedlick, Charlie Ewingfield. Have a great night.